بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Assalamu alaikum once again. We're going to continue with our storytelling session. And today we are looking at the story of Shu'aib alayhi salam. Okay, so if there is anybody who wants to participate, please raise your hand and we can go on. Okay, so I have Homa and Maryam. Okay, so let's see if it's a short story. It's not really long. It's not really much going on. So let's see if we can divide it in half. So I think we can. This is a good place to stop. So we could stop there, and then the second person can finish all the way to the end. Okay, Homa, you can begin.
Okay. قصة شعيب. قصة شعيب is an Arab messenger.
Yes, it
شعيب.
is.
قصة شعيب or stop. Okay. قصة شعيب عليه السلام.
Yes.
The story of شعيب عليه السلام. أرسل الله شعيبا عليه السلام إلى قوم مدين بعد أن ظهرت فيهم عبادة الأصنام. Allah sent Shu'aib alayhi salam to the nation of Madian after the idol worshipping appeared in them. وَأَشْرَكُوا بِاللَّهِ, and they assigned partners with Allah. وَكَانَتْ تِلْكَ الْقَرْيَةُ قَدْ عُرِفَتْ بِتَطْفِيفِ الْمِكْيَالِ. Okay. وكانت تلك القرية قد عرفت بتطفيف المكيال والميزان.
المكيال والميزان. Yeah.
مكيال. Yes, مكيال والميزان. And this town, we can say this town was known, used to be known for like for
we can say being stingy with the measurements, or like that's literally the meaning of tatfif, taffafa, to be stingy or to infringe upon somebody or something. So, but the idea is they used to like mess with the measurements.
Yeah. So they were known for being stingy with their measurements. فكان أهلها يزيدون في الكيل إن اشتروا شيئا. And its people used to increase in weight whenever they used to sell something.
To buy
something.
Yes.
وينقصون منه إذا باعوا, and they used to decrease it when they used to sell it.
Yeah.
فدعاهم شعيب. So Shu'aib alayhi salam called them. Shu'aib alayhi salam called them إلى عبادة الله وحده, to the worship of one God. وترك ما يشركون به.
إلى عبادتي إلى تركي.
إلى. Yes. وترك ما يشركون به من الأنداد. I don't know what andad means.
Idols.
Okay. It's another word for idols.
Yes.
And to give up or leave what they used to associate with Allah from the idols, among the idols. وَنَهَاهُمْ عَنْ تَطْفِيفِ الْمِكْيَالِ وَالْمِيزَانِ, and he forbade them from being stingy in the measurements. مُحَذِّرًا إِيَّاهُمْ مِنْ عَذَابِ اللَّهِ وَإِقَابِهِ, warning them. مُحَذِّرًا إِيَّاهُمْ, okay, warning them from the punishment of Allah and his anger, iqab.
Yeah. So, yeah, we can say that. It's fine.
فتفرع أهل
Mm-hmm.
القرية فتفرع أهل القرية إلى فريقين. Okay, so the people of the town, they divided into two groups. إذ استكبر
Mm-hmm.
إذ استكبر بعضهم عن دعوة الله. استكبر, it means to try to be great, to try to be big.
Arrogant, to be arrogant.
Okay, some of them became arrogant towards the call of Allah.
Mm-hmm.
وَمَكَرُوا بِنَبِيِّهِمْ, and they
Mm-hmm.
planned against their prophet.
Mm-hmm.
وَاتَّهَمُوهُم,
Mm-hmm.
اتهم,
Accused.
okay, and they accused him وَاتَّهَمُوهُ بِالسِّحْرِ وَالْكِذْبِ, and they
Mm-hmm.
accused him of magic and lying.
Mm-hmm.
وَتُوَعِدُوهُ وَتُوَعِدُوهُ بِالْقَتْلِ.
توعد يتوعد.
Okay, وَتَوَعَدُوهُ بِالْقَتْلِ. What does
Mm.
this mean?
Threaten.
وَتَوَعَدَ.
توعد, to threaten somebody or something. So they threatened him with death
They
or
threatened
with,
to kill him. Death, or okay, they
yes,
threatened to
or
kill him.
yes, or they threatened to kill him. Yes, exactly. Right, beautiful. Maryam, you can go on from there.
وآمن بعضهم الآخر بدعوة شعيب
بعضهم
الآخر.
So it's going to be, what's the relationship between this and this? I think it's kind of like
مضاف and الآخر. It's مضاف. No, wait. No. Okay, yeah. Okay, sorry. It's موصوف صفة. Yeah. بعضهم الآخر بدعوة شعيب.
Yes.
ثم okay, so so some others, they believed in the calling of Shu'aib alayhi salam.
Yeah.
ثم ارتحل شعيب عن مدين متوجها إلى الأيكة. Just give me a minute. I'll just close the door.
Okay, no problem. So I'm just gonna explain here. وآمن بعضهم الآخر. So remember we had just read that فتفرع أهل القرية إلى فريقين. So the people of the town, they branched out or they divided into two groups. So the first one is the one that Huma read about. إذ استكبر بعضهم. So this بعضهم is the first group. عن دعوة الله. So they were arrogant. And they plotted and they threatened and they tried to accuse him with different things. وآمن بعضهم الآخر. And the other half, if you will, or the other بعض of them, okay, they actually believed بدعوة شعيب. So that's what is being said there.
ارتحل
Okay.
شعيب
Go on.
ثم ارتحل شعيب عن مدين متوجها إلى الأيكة. So then Shu'aib alayhi salam departed from Madian, and he faced or he moved towards Al-Aika.
Or headed towards Al-Aika.
Yeah. قومها مشركين يطفئون المكيال والميزان كأهل مدين. And its nation, they were from the disbelievers, they were mushrikeen, and yutaffifuna. Again, the stinginess, they were they were stingy in their weight and measurements. كأهل مدين, like the people of Madian. فدعاهم شعيب إلى عبادة الله وترك ما هم عليه من الشرك. So Shu'aib alayhi salam called them towards the worship of Allah and to leave whatever they were upon on the disbelief, on the shirk. وَأَنذَرَهُمْ بِعَذَابِ اللَّهِ وَعِقَابِهِ, and he warned them against the punishment and wrath of Allah. فَلَمْ يَسْتَجِبْ الْقَوْمُ. So the nation, they didn't respond to him. فَتَرَكَهُمْ شُعَيْبٌ عَائِدًا إِلَى مَدْيَنَ مَرَّةً أُخْرَى. So Shu'aib alayhi salam left them and he returned back to Madian once again. وَحِينَمَا وَقَعَ أَمْرُ اللَّهِ عُذِّبَ الْمُشْرِكُونَ مِنْ قَوْمِ مَدْيَنَ. And when the command of Allah was established, the disbelievers from the nation of Madian were punished. فَأَصَابَتْهُمْ رَجْفَةٌ وَهَزَّةٌ مُدَمِّرَةٌ نَقَدَتْ قَرْيَتَهُمْ وَكَذَلِكَ عُذِّبَتِ الْأَيْكَةُ. So فَأَصَابَتْهُمْ رَجْفَةٌ. So rajfa is
A tremor. Like a
tremor,
shake.
and hazzatun wa mudammiratun. I don't know what would be the exact translation of these words.
So hazza is a violent shaking, like a very extreme type of shaking, which is kind of like similar to rajfa, because the rajfa is also like some kind of a shaking. Mudammiratun is a sifa to hazza, so destructive. Mudammira, dammara yudammiru means to destroy. So this will be destructive.
Naqadat qaryatahum. So this naqadat would be like destroyed.
Yes.
The village, the town. وَكَذَلِكَ عُذِّبَتِ الْأَيْكَةُ. So likewise, Aika was also punished similarly. قال تعالى أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وإلى مدين أخاهم شعيبا فقال يا قوم اعبدوا الله وارجوا اليوم الآخر ولا تعثوا في الأرض مفسدين. So to Madian, their brother Shu'aib, I mean Shu'aib was sent to the Madian, and فقال يا قوم, so he said, my nation, اعبدوا الله, worship Allah, وارجوا اليوم الآخرة. Warju, what would be the meaning of warju?
Raja, from raja, hope, to have hope.
Okay.
Warju, yeah.
Okay, so have hope in the on the last day.
Yeah. So here there's something that is missing, that is understood, like you have hope in the reward of the Day of Judgment. Like look forward to the reward.
Forward to it.
Yeah. That's what he's trying to say.
The mufsidin, and don't transgress.
Yeah, that works.
In the earth, on the land. Yeah. فكذبوه فأخذتهم الرجفة فأصبحوا في دارهم جاثمين. So they belied him, and a tremor took over them, and they became jathimin, is like
we talked about, remember, with the birds,
turned upside down, right?
Yeah, their faces on the ground, or like they could just be pushed up like birds out of fear. Yeah, that's another one. That's how the Arabs used to describe jathim. So there are two kind of meanings for the word jathim. Basically, falling to your faces, that would be jathim, and also like birds that are perched, like they're sitting on their legs. I don't know how to describe it. It's like a visual being created in my mind, but I don't know how to describe it. Like, you know, if birds, I'm imagining like how birds, if they're rained on, and how they're just like they're like perched on trees. I don't know, or like standing on the ground. Yeah, some kind of like imagery like that.
كما قال تعالى, likewise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, كذب أصحاب الأيكة المرسلين. So the people of Aika belied the messengers. إذ قال لهم شعيب ألا تتقون, when Shu'aib alayhi salam said to them, aren't you being mindful, or don't you have the fear of Allah?
Or
إني
won't
لكم
you?
رسول, won't you? Yeah, won't you? ألا تتقون. Yeah. إني لكم رسول أمين. I am a trustworthy messenger towards you. فاتقوا الله وأطيعون. So be mindful of Allah and obey me.
Beautiful. And that's our story of Shu'aib alayhi salam. He was sent to two nations. So we have Midian and we have Ashabul Aika. So we have the people of Midian and then the people of Al-Aika. Al-Aika, basically what they say is, it's the name of a town, but it's also the name of a huge tree. It was called Al-Aika, that they used to worship. Apparently that's what they say about it. There's not so much that we know about the story of Shu'aib, other than the fact that what they used to do, you know, يطففون طففة, same the word that we get for in Surah Al-Mutaffifin, وَيْلٌ لِلْمُطَفِّفِينَ. So that's the same kind of the word there. That's how I remember this word, طففة, from Surah Al-Mutaffifin. It helps when you can make such connections with the Quran so that, you know, vocabulary can stick, I think. And that's basically, yeah, so they used to do that. They used to reduce, basically when they would buy, they would ask for more weights. So they would manipulate the weights when they are buying. Maybe the shopkeeper is not looking, and then they manipulate the weights and then they get more. So they're cheating the person when they buy. And when they're selling, they would also still manipulate the weights and the measurements, and so that they actually sell less. So that's the practice that they used to do, both Midian and Ashabul Aika. And subhanallah, when I was reading this ayah, again, the Quran just, it does something. Like, we read this entire story and there was a lot of details, but it didn't paint a picture like the way Quran did. And it's just in a matter of 2 ayat. وَإِلَى مَدْيَنَ أَخَاهُمْ شُعَيْبًا فَقَالَ يَا قَوْمِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَارْجُوا الْيَوْمَ الْآخِرَةَ. So I was actually stuck with this part. وَارْجُوا الْيَوْمَ الْآخِرَةَ. Why is Shu'aib telling them to look forward or to hope for the reward of the hereafter? Like, why is that a big deal? And then it dawned on me that, you know, these people, they're cheating on the weights. Why? Because they're focusing on the rewards of this world. And Shu'aib is telling them, listen up. The reward of the hereafter is way better than what you guys are focusing on, because you're focusing on getting rewards and profits in this dunya when you should be hoping and looking forward to the reward of the akhirah. And Allah just captures that and puts that in there, like, you know, so that subhanallah, it's amazing. And وَلَا تَعْثَوْا فِي الْأَرْضِ مُفْسِدِينَ, and of course don't cause corruption in the land and don't act wickedly in the land. فَكَذَّبُوهُ, they rejected him, or they belied him, or they denied him. There's so many ways to translate this, but based on the context, I think rejected sounds better. So فَكَذَّبُوهُ, they rejected him. فَأَخَذَتْهُمُ الرَّجْفَةُ, so this tremor, a shaking, a kind of violent tremor, took them. فَأَصْبَحُوا فِي دَارِهِمْ جَاثِمِينَ. Again, we talked about jathim, this word, which is again amazing. And subhanallah, Allah brings this word jathim when he's talking about a shaking, or when he's talking about a scream, a loud scream. And I think it's connected. I don't know, I haven't read the tafsirs on this, but I think it's connected, because I haven't seen this word jathim on any other kind of punishment. It mostly comes with screams and shaking, because to me it paints the picture. When you're in an earthquake, what do? You go cower in some corner and you actually patch yourself like a bird, and you hug yourself. Basically, you sit down and you hug your knees, and that kind of just looks like a bird standing, right? That's the image. And you sort of like hold your head or try to cover your ears, or you're scared, and if, you know, some people just like face down and just lie down and put their faces on the ground. And that's exactly what is being captured in the word jathim. Subhanallah. Again, just the way the Quran paints the imagery in very, very succinct manner, or in a very brief manner. كما قال تعالى كذب أصحاب الأيكة المرسلين. So in the same way, you know, the way the أصحاب الأيكة, they rejected the prophets. إذ قال لهم شعيب, when Shu'aib said to them, ألا تتقون, aren't you going to be pious? Aren't you going to be, won't you be God-fearing? Won't you have taqwa? Yeah. إني لكم رسول أمين, I'm a trustworthy messenger to you. فاتقوا الله وأطيعون. So have fear of Allah, be God conscious, you know, have taqwa of Allah, وأطيعون, and obey me, obey what I'm telling you, because he's a messenger and he knows what's true. SubhanAllah. That's the kind of lesson that I drew from this story. And just to link it to the world that we're living in, SubhanAllah, if these people got punished because of cheating in business, imagine if we were to be punished, like what kind of punishment we would get right now. Because the amount of cheating that people do in business right now, the kind of cheap products that certain parts of the world get, because, you know, or subhanallah, it's just incredible, and it's so crazy how much what people would do to get that extra profit. And subhanallah, we're just lucky that we're in the ummah of Muhammad and sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we're not, Allah is not going to punish us in this world. We're just lucky in that sense. But otherwise, I cannot imagine the punishment that would have descended on us for just this one crime. Forget the other crimes that we're doing right now, but for this one crime, subhanallah, it's truly amazing. Anyway, I'm going to open it up to you guys. What are your thoughts, contributions, reflections, lessons? If you have anything to share.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I was thinking about the word Jasim. When you are traveling in the plane, and if there's something is happening, they tell you like to crawl, like to hold your feet basically in the plane, like that Jasim.
Right.
And also a child, when a child is afraid, and someone is abusing a child, he goes into that state, right? Like crunching into himself. So I think this is what happened, maybe because of the fear. Yeah.
It sounds very plausible, doesn't it? Because that's the human reaction. That's what we do.
It's human reaction, exactly. Going under the table, and then you just gather yourself and you wait for it to finish. So I think that's how it ended for them.
Imagine just the fear, being in that condition and the tremor is not ending. Subhanallah. Scary, very scary. Wow. Powerful. The ayat of Allah, powerful.
Yeah.
Any other person who wants to add? Or
Alhamdulillah, the warju al-yawm al-akhir. I never thought about that, but you are right, subhanallah.
yeah.
So he said that because of what they were doing, subhanallah.
Yeah, because
like to delay.
mean, he didn't say anything else. He could have said anything else. He could have told them to stop doing what they were doing. But instead, he tells them, look forward to the reward of the hereafter. SubhanAllah. Amazing.
I was just thinking, like, what made them, reject all that, and just preferring the fewer rewards of this world over the everlasting reward of the hereafter. I mean, this is crazy. It's really, I mean,
absolutely,
even for us, to not fall into this trap, it is a lesson for us to learn that we should be. I mean, that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put these stories in the Quran, so that we should not be doing what they were doing.
Yeah, exactly. These are ayat for us. They're signs, directions, guidance, like big neon signs for us to realize not to repeat these same mistakes. SubhanAllah. And it boils down to greed, because even you hear the way they're describing the story, like some of them, they were arrogant. They just became arrogant. And arrogance doesn't mean you don't know the truth. It's not that you don't know what you're doing. These people know what they're doing. They know full well what they're doing, but they're just arrogant. They just refuse. They ignore it. They decide they're not going to address it. Subhanallah. And that just leads you. And it's the same sin with Iblis. Again, it goes back to the beginnings. The sin of Iblis, just being arrogant. And Iblis, that's exactly what he wants for us. He wants us to commit the same sins he did. He wants us to be arrogant because he wants to prove a point. He wants to prove a point to Allah that we, human beings, the one that, Adam was cherished and honored, and to the point that the angels prostrated, he wants to prove a point that we are nothing. We are not worth the angels' prostration. We are not worth his prostration. So he wants to prove a point. So if he gets us to be arrogant like him, then he has proven his point. So we cannot let, and that's why the Quran tells us, he's an enemy. We should take him as an enemy because he is an enemy. Like, subhanallah. Again, it's amazing how the Quran is just tied and connected. Subhanallah. Yeah, you don't, if you get me to start talking, subhanallah, I can talk forever. So you guys just bring in the tell me what you guys have. Otherwise I will talk forever.
Actually, what I was thinking was like whenever we read these ayat and we think about this, like think about the story of Shu'aib alayhi salam, we always think of the people like shopkeepers. They were doing it. We are not shopkeepers, we are not owners of shops, so we are not doing it. But when we go to buy something, especially in this like today's world of consumerism, when we are ordering something online or something, we we order something, and if sometimes they have such good return policies that we use it for a little while, but then, oh no, I don't like this and that, and this, on the pretext of something else, we return it. Even this is like we are being stingy. Like when we are buying something, we want it to be filled beyond the brim, something like we want more than 100%. And when we are trying to sell something, when it's good, it's okay, generally it's okay. But even when we are giving our services, even that is, we try to steal time out of our services. Like if I'm doing teaching, if I'm not feeling like it, but then I will not give my 100%. I would just sit down, I would try to you know like look into my phone and something. While this time was an amana, I had sold this time to somebody, I'm selling this time to somebody, I'm taking money from them, and I am not giving them the 100% that I should have.
Wow.
So when
Huma, you just dropped a bomb. That's what you did. Wow. Go on, finish.
This was something I heard, like on the same lines, I heard from Ustad only, I think in Surah Mutaffifin or something. But then when I thought about it, it was like you can stretch it out to anything. Like whenever I or we, all of us, we hear these kind of ayat, we think of only of the shopkeepers, like buying and selling rice and sugar and stuff. Okay, so we don't think that it applies to us, like we are not selling anything. But even if we are doing some service, we are selling our time, or if we are buying something, we try to, we'll say to the shopkeeper, I mean, give a little more. We are like, when we are buying, especially buying vegetables, etc., we always want to have a little extra. And when we are selling something, I mean, it's not just the groceries and all. It extends to everything, and especially for services or for something that we have, especially for something that we are charging. So we have to be very, very cautious about it.
100%, subhanallah. That's very true. Even when I was reading this, I was, of course, I'm a business woman, so I was applying it to myself in that sense. But normally, I just think about these other guys who are doing these things. I'm not doing that. These other people are the ones who are doing that. Subhanallah. But we need to bring the ayat and ask myself, in what context does this ayah apply to me? And I think you just brought it in. You clarified that it can be anything. And in your example, actually, you reminded me of something that I don't really like to see people doing, but it happens a lot, that it's so common. This culture of haggling. I know it's Desi culture is a lot. In my culture, it's a lot. A lot of actually Muslim cultures, for some reason, we haggle a lot. We bargaining, this culture of bargaining, it's just too much. And the funny bit about it is that we don't haggle with the big companies or the designer clothes or, you know, this fancy stuff. We go and haggle with the guy or the woman selling vegetables sitting on the street. Like they can barely afford a shop, and we're haggling with this person. It really bothers me, but it's so common that it's become natural. Like that person who deserves more, that's the person we want to infringe and, you know, take even more. And they are used to it. So when you go and ask the price, they will tell you the double price before they come to the real price, because they know you're going to haggle. It's just madness, to be honest. SubhanAllah. So it reminded me of that. Any other amazing insights that you got from this amazing story of Shu'aib? Alayhi salam. Yeah, that was beautiful. It was a nice reminder for all of us to look inward when we're reading the ayat of the Quran, to ask ourselves, how does this ayah apply to me? If there's an admonition or a warning, how can I heed this warning? If there is an encouragement to do good, how can I try and do this type of good? So yeah, this was a good story and a good reminder, alhamdulillah. If there's nothing else, I think that's a good time to end. Okay, I think we can end there. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم guys.
جزاك الله خيرا. السلام
جزاك الله
عليكم.
خيرا. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وإياكم. جزاك الله خيرا.